On this episode of the Procedurally Generated Show, Ethan fights in a giant mech, Tony finds his rhythm, and Shannon plays pachinko in a dungeon. We talk about all the week's biggest news stories, and then we answer your questions. Howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Procedurally Generated Show. I'm your host, Tony, and joining me this week, I've got Ethan.
Hey, Tony.
What's up, sir?
Not much with me. How's your boat?
I've needed a boat this week.
Indeed.
It has been insane. From the time we stopped recording the podcast last week, it was like 4 straight days of tornado warnings. Much of the Tulsa area is flooded. Not just a little bit of flooded, a lot of flooded.
Yeah.
It is insane. Crazy. So yeah, if you have a boat, it has been much needed in this part of the state over the last few days. Luckily, we've gone a couple days now with no rain, so hopefully the worst is behind us.
Well, there's a bunch blowing in right now, I'm sure.
Not at the moment. It's pretty clear
outside.
Not
on your end, but on the west side.
So
because it just blew out of here about a couple hours ago.
Yeah, so I mean that will be headed this direction.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't get a lot more rain. We really don't need it. We've already got lakes that are close to overflowing dams and
lakes that are already oceans. Yep.
Pretty much, and rivers that are now twice as wide as they're supposed to be. It's not been pretty. So, but yeah, that's what my week has been this week. So, what about you, Shannon? Have you had an exciting week?
It's been pretty good. I mean, we had a very good vacation. That was pretty nice. I took my son on another roller coaster.
Yeah, you would never get me on that thing. I know what you. I've seen the picture, and no, it ain't happening. Your son is a braver man than I am.
You wouldn't be able to tell so by the picture.
I realize he looked, terrified, but he's at least on the roller coaster.
Yeah, he spent the rest of the day at Silver Dollar City bragging to people about how he rode Powder Keg.
Yeah.
At the same time, both saying it was fun, but it was very scary. So
yeah, that'd be me too, except not the fun part, just the very scary part. I haven't even gotten on Fire in the Hole. That's how much I don't like roller coasters, and that's not really a roller coaster.
Yeah, Fire in the Hole isn't enjoyable. Like it's too rough. It's very old, and I'm not a big fan of in the dark rides. Like yeah. I'm not a fan of Space Mountain. I've been on it before, didn't like it. I don't like being jerked from side to side in the middle of the dark.
Yeah. So. I did make my son a deal though. The next time we go to Silver Dollar City, I'll ride Fire in the Hole with him, but he's got to go in the cave with me.
Oh yeah, man. Cave is the best ride in the park.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I love going down in that cave. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
people who've never been to Silver Dollar City have no idea what we're talking about.
I went on the last tour of the night one time through the cave, and the cleaning crew that was coming up behind us was playing music through the stereo system that's in the cave, so you're hearing them play like this crazy orchestral stuff, and it just sounds so cool.
Yeah, the acoustics in there would be really awesome.
It's very cool.
And then when you get to the part of the tour where they turn the lights off and all you hear is just the music.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. So, yeah. I'm very, very interested, speaking of dark, damp places, how in the heck did you play pachinko in a dungeon?
Okay, so I have been tasked with reviewing a game that nobody knows what the game is.
Yeah, we all, before this game came out, were like, I have no idea what this is.
Yeah, it's the game in question is Lapras X Labyrinth, Lapras Cross Labyrinth, Lapras Labyrinth. I don't know what to what to call it. The game never refers to itself, but this is a new project out of NIS America. I am playing it on the Nintendo Switch. It is basically a side-scrolling dungeon crawler. And I say that I'm playing pachinko in a dungeon because the biggest thing this game has going for it is these weird slot machine mechanics. Because every time you take on every time you take on a quest in the labyrinth, you are constantly building up this fever meter, and you have a treasure multiplier. So as you're destroying enemies, you're building up this multiplier for your treasure. If you take a hit, your multiplier drops back to 0. Every time you destroy an enemy, you are building up a fever meter. When the game goes into fever mode, everything is destructible, and there are just gems flying everywhere. Gems and coins flying from all over the screen. There's fireworks happening in the background. It's playing some amazing electronic music while you're just hacking and slashing away at demons in a labyrinth in the dark. And it hits all those dopamine moments where it's just like, I kind of want to keep hitting X. I just keep mashing X, and I don't see where my characters are, but there's so many colors. Oh my gosh. It's
they have to give you a seizure warning before you do it.
Yeah. If anybody sounds interested by this, go look up a video of this game, because the trailers don't do a very good job at explaining it, but you will see fever mode in the trailers, and it is amazing and addictive. So basically, you are an adventurer who has come into this town because you heard about the labyrinth that is under the town. The town has practically been deserted. When you arrive, you are greeted by the mayor saying, "I'm so glad that somebody has finally shown up. It's been years since our town has been busy." And you see that all of these shops and all of the area on the town is just completely empty. And you are basically exploring the labyrinth, finding the money, building the hype around to bring this town above the labyrinth back to life. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much all of the story you get. The character development for your party is non-existent.
Okay, that's always good.
There are a handful of classes that you can get. You don't meet the characters at, like in the game. You don't have, when you create a character, you give them the name, you pick their voice, you pick their hair color, you pick their outfits and everything. It's basically, you create your party of up to 8 characters amongst, I think there's 6 different classes. And you can bring 4 total characters into the labyrinth for each mission that you take. But if you want a new character, you just go to the guild rep and you say, "Hey, I'm going to hire a new person for my team." Mm-hmm. And it costs you nothing. You're basically just recruiting somebody. Like I said, hire. It probably says recruit in the game because you're not having to buy a new character. But there's nothing. It just kind of feels empty. It feels like I'm exploring this labyrinth just for those dopamine hits, and then coming back up to the town to spend some money and build the town. And it's this weird loop, and it's super pretty and it's super cool, and I'm having some fun, but at the same time I wish I knew more of what was going on. I want to know the history. I want to know, there should be more to it. It just kind of feels.
You want to know what this game you're playing is.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Well, because, the thing is, it looks really interesting and really clever and weird, and I want to, really enjoy it and maybe be, interested in playing this game. But from the trailers, it's almost impossible to figure out what it is, and it's a hard game to sell, I imagine.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's fun to play, but at some point, it's not a game that I could see myself sitting and investing multiple hours at a time playing. I feel like I will do maybe one or two missions. I'll go on 1 or 2 missions and then call it a day, because I'm not going to sit here and completely clear out the quest board and and spend hours at a time, because each mission that you take when you go into a floor in the labyrinth, each floor only has a 5-minute timer.
Yeah.
So even though these floors are very lengthy and they seem procedurally generated, you want to explore everything. But if you're on a floor for more than 5 minutes, a kind of like a Grim Reaper, I think they've called it the Phantom, arrives, and it will chase you around the floor, and you can never really get away from it. If you get so far away from it that it disappears off of your incoming notification, it'll just reappear in front of you. And if it touches you, you're dead and you fail the mission. So it seems like they're just constantly trying to keep you running, to keep you building up that fever meter, to keep you attacking more monsters, to keep you exploding stuff in fever mode. So I don't know. In a game like this, I would like the ability to leisurely explore the levels and just kind of enjoy. I mean, because the game is super cute. I don't think I've explained that yet. All of the characters are very, very chibi, very, very, very cute. When you go into the mission with your party of 4 people, it uses a classic NIS mechanic, which is character stacking. You walk into the dungeon and your main character is on the very bottom, and then you have your 3 party members all stacked on top. When you are attacking, whoever is on the very bottom is the one that's doing the attack. So if I'm playing with a gunner as my main party member, I am doing all ranged attacks, and I can hit the left trigger, and then the person who was directly above the gunner is now my main attacker. So if it was my bishop is now doing a bunch of cool melee attacks with her little not like a bow staff, kind of like a bow staff with a blade on the front of it.
Yeah.
But, so you can cycle through your party like that just by hitting the left trigger. You can also throw all of the characters that are on your head at enemies by hitting the right trigger when you've built up that meter, and then you'll do like a cool flashy freeze the game for a second little tiny miniature cutscene, and now everything's getting attacked because you threw the whole party at the screen. So it's very cute, all about kind of not really explaining to you what's going on, but at the same time being very it's pushing you at getting those rushes, like those feelings of ooh, pretty colors, ooh, get the money. So
Well, that sounds interesting.
it is. I'll have a review up hopefully here within the next week, and with the review, I've been taking videos or like screen captures and stuff. So I'll definitely put a bunch of content alongside the review, so people can check it out. It's cool. It's clever. It's one thing that this game benefits from compared to a lot of NIS products. I mean, NIS has a bad track record of way overcharging for their games.
Yeah.
I think stuff like Half Minute Hero coming out at $50, and them re-releasing or not Half Minute Hero. I meant the longest 5 minutes. The longest 5 minutes coming out as a $50 release, or what was Disgaea 1 Complete coming out? I think it was it $60 or $50 or $60?
More than it should have been. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it should have been maybe a $20 game, but it's well over a decade old at this point. It's an old PS2 game, but Lapras Labyrinth I think is only $30. So maybe they're, I know for a fact NIS has been in some financial trouble here lately. So maybe they're hoping releasing this game at a more budget-friendly price will push more units. So, but that's maybe a little too much speculation on my point. But that's it for me.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, Ethan, what about you?
I am also playing the game for review called Project Nimbus.
Okay.
It is a mech game. This is for the Nintendo Switch, the one I'm playing. I think it's out on Steam and PS4. I definitely know it's out on Steam.
I think it's also out on PS4.
Anyway, so yeah, it's a mech game. It kind of has that callback to older mech games from like the PS2 era, where it's a big open field and you have movement in all directions along with a boost, and
Yeah.
then you have to like cycle through your weapons, and it really feels like an older game on a newer system, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Sure. It's a very fast-paced sort of mech game, isn't it?
It wants you to believe it is. It's really not. There's a few moments where it should be fast, and it's just more like the game is fast and your mech is just not able to keep up with whatever's happening.
Yeah.
But that's just you versus an AI opponent, which that's probably going to happen a lot. But it's set in the 21st century, decades after a great war has devastated the Earth's surface, so a lot of water and destruction and ruins. So there's not much down there to support human life, so everyone's living on these flying continents or something. I don't know what to call them. They're very weird. It's like a flying city for each place or something.
Okay.
And you have your mechs called battle frames, and they're always in humanoid form, and it looks really bad when you fly around because you have just arms and legs dangling and stuff.
Okay.
I mean, as someone who's played like Zone of the Enders, where like if you went down onto the ground, you could see the legs adjusting and scraping against the ground and stuff. So,
so it looked and felt like they sort of had weight.
Yeah, but this one is just you have legs. It's okay, but all I'm doing is flying the entire time. So what's the point? It's like you never get to walk around on them, which is a big questionable point in my thing, because it's like, why not just make these specialized ships and whatever?
Because mechs are cooler, that's why.
Well, obviously. The scaling on there for like your mech versus whatever, like other ships and stuff, like Air Force One. There we go. I had to do a mission where I had to protect Air Force One at one point.
The actual like presidents.
Yes.
Okay.
And I want to say they were probably like half the size of my mech. And there was
That's huge then.
Yeah, it's like, why are these things bigger than airplanes? And it's like you can have one person inside this thing piloting it, and it's just insane. And I actually first noticed it whenever I was fighting another ship sort of thing, and you could see the windows on there. And it's probably the size of the window on there is probably the size of one of the fingers on your mech.
Oh my gosh.
So it's just crazy on the scaling. I don't know if they're just doing that for gameplay or if that's the actual entirety or like a constant thing throughout the game. I really don't know how else to describe this game.
So
I think isn't this supposed to be competing with what's that other mech game that's coming to Switch?
There is another one coming out not too long from now. What is it?
They had a demo.
I'd have to pull up the eShop and see. But I know what you're talking about.
Right. This is supposed to be like a competitor with that, and I'm not seeing this as what I would consider to be competing with that game, because that one seems more strategic, and you actually can walk around on the ground in that one, from what I could remember, and do dashing and stuff. This one's Project Nimbus is, I'm going to say, closer to a Zone of the Enders, whereas the competitor that it's trying to compete with would be Armored Core.
Okay. Yeah, I remember looking through the eShop the other day. It's called Wartech Fighters.
Wartech. Wait, Wartech?
Yeah, Wartech Fighters. That's the other mech-looking game that I can see on the eShop. Comes out the end of next month. The end of June, actually. Sorry.
No, Daemon X Machina.
Oh, there you go. Okay, that one. The one that Nintendo's actually doing.
Yes. I was like, you said that. I was like, that name's not right when you said it.
Yeah, I forgot about Daemon X Machina.
Yeah, that's the one that I was told that I was trying to compete with when I was looking this up. Whenever you asked if I was interested in it. So yeah, this is supposed to be competing with that, and like I said, that one seems more like a Armored Core game, whereas this one's trying to be Zone of the Enders, but it's kind of stuck in the past. But I'm just using Zone of the Enders as an example, not really a comparison. Or no, as a comparison, not. It's not Zone of the Enders either. I would just say that it's not that good. No, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, this has its charm in its own way. But I mean, it's not a Kojima game.
No?
No. I just need to stop digging this hole that I'm in. I do like some of the mech designs on here. They look pretty cool, and I would like to see them used in like city environments, crashing through and into the environment, like buildings and such.
Yeah.
But this seems more like it would be closer to I guess an arcade style shooter, kind of a shooter thing going on there, but with an arena that you're in. That looks like an open arena.
Mm-hmm.
If anything I said makes sense, good.
Well, it's interesting that there's so many of these mech style games coming so soon, so close together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to the Daemon X Machina game, and like the one you mentioned earlier. What was that again?
Wartech Fighters.
Wartech.
Or Daemon, and then Daemon X Machina.
Yeah. So, like, I'm always up for more mech games. It's just we've evolved beyond a certain point where if you're going to do a mech game, there's no environment for you to walk around on. It's just kind of like, why is this a mech and not a ship?
Yeah. Yeah, I want more BattleTech style mech games.
Oh, you want the heavy?
I want
combat,
heavy plotting. Yeah, that's my style of mech combat game.
Oh man, there was a PC game that was very much that you could play. I think it shut down not long ago. Man,
I don't remember. They just showed off a new Mech Warrior game, or a new BattleTech game coming pretty soon. So that's what I'm going to be interested in. It will never come to Switch. I know that.
Of course not.
I think it'll be coming to PS4. So
I still want to try one of those BattleTech pods over at Tokyo and Tulsa, but
I'd love to. I think it'd be awesome.
Just get the entire group of friends, go through the thing, and then it's like, all right, we're splitting down the middle. Here's this team versus this team.
Yep.
or free for all, whatever.
I think it'd be crazy fun.
Okay, so yeah, everything I said about Project Nimbus, don't take it in a negative way. It's just it. I see it. I see what kind of game it is, versus what kind of game it could be. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it has potential. It's not quite there in my opinion. But I am still doing the review, so yay.
There you go.
I will stop digging this hole now. Tony, what have you been playing?
I have also been playing a game that I'm working on for review. A little bit different than the kinds of games that you guys are playing, though.
Okay.
This is one, Shannon, you told me that I would be very interested in playing.
Yep.
And you were right. It is fantastic.
Yay!
It took me a little while to get used to it. I'm talking about a rhythm game on the Switch. It's been out for about a year now, and they just sent over a code to us a little while ago. It's called Musinx.
Game
I
is
think
so
that's
good.
how you pronounce it. It is... I want to say it's to Chinese Vocaloids what Miku is to Japanese Vocaloids. That's not exactly right. But it is based around Chinese Vocaloids. Most of the music is from Chinese performers.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
And Chinese Vocaloids. So it's a little bit different than what you'd expect from something like a Miku game. It doesn't play like a Miku game, so I need to quit making those comparisons. But it's closer to like I don't even want to say a Guitar Hero game, but it's got that similar note track where the notes come in from the top towards the bottom of the screen, and then you hit the buttons in time with them hitting the bottom of the screen.
It's incredibly close to DJ Max.
Okay.
That's probably the closest comparison I can make without the need for a turntable.
Okay.
So you can either run a 4-track or a 6-track mode.
Yeah. And I've been doing 4. 6 was too much to try to keep track of, I thought.
Yeah. I typically play 4 on Switch or Vita, and then if I'm playing on the PS4 with that rhythm game, that Easy Max rhythm game controller, that controller makes it a whole lot easier to play 6-track.
Yeah, I think if I had a controller that was set up similar to the note tracks, it would be much easier to play that 6 button. But playing it on a controller, there's just a lot going on, and I think 4 button was easier to keep track of.
Yep.
So, I mean, aside from saying it's incredibly, incredibly fun to play, I don't really know what else there is to say about it. Visually, it's really, really nice. There's a bunch of different styles. It seems like there's a number of songs that are grouped into different styles. So there's like one style where everything is set up. It's like an 8-bit sort of cafeteria, I guess. And so you've got pixelated food items coming down these conveyor belts that are your notes that you're supposed to hit as they reach the bottom of the screen. Then there's another group of songs that are some of my favorites that all have these sort of watercolor paintings in the background, and it uses that Asian style watercolor artwork for different things on it, including the note tracks that are coming down from the top of the screen. And then there is the other section that I didn't like at first, but it sort of grew on me, and that's the EDM section. Where it's all electronic dance music. It's heavily electronic. There's lights flashing all over the place. It was insane. And there's a couple of songs in there that I really, really liked.
Gotta take Tony to a rave now.
No, I don't want to go to a rave. Definitely do not want to go to a rave.
So each one of those different things that you've described is a theme. So where Project Diva it'll have like the music video playing in the background, and you're just hitting notes over top of it. They have, I think, in the base game on consoles, there are 6 or 8 different themes.
Yeah.
And then the songs are clustered based on the themes, and the themes typically blend with what you would expect visually based on the song.
Yeah.
On the iOS and Android version, there's way more themes, and they even sell additional themes, and you can you can change what songs group under what themes. One cool thing about the console versions of Musings is they include all of what am I trying to say? The game on mobile has something in the neighborhood of like 224 songs on it currently.
Mm-hmm.
And the console versions is just shy of 100. And they have made the promise to add all of those additional songs to the console versions over time with updates.
Yeah.
So it's not additional DLC you have to purchase. However, they have said that the only free content for the console versions is going to be the songs, whereas the themes, and they also added this cool metronome feature on the mobile version that you had to purchase for like an extra, I think it was $2 per metronome, because they have different cutesy anime themed metronomes. But that stuff's eventually going to be available under the shop. So
yeah. So
I like this game a lot.
It is very, very fun. It did take me a little bit to get used to, until I realized that on the note track coming down, it's color coded basically.
Yeah.
So you've got your 2 inside tracks that are one color, and your outside tracks that are another. And the buttons are the left and up and X and A. Those correspond to the outer and the inner buttons.
Mm-hmm.
And once I realized that, I recognized that color coding. It was much easier to start to follow the note tracks, and figure out exactly where I was on the screen and on the controller. So yeah, if you're looking for a rhythm game on the Switch, definitely, this is one you should check out, because it is very, very good.
Major props to PM Studios. Like they are the team that came out of the old DJ Max, all the DJ Max games that came out years and years ago on like PSP and PS2. What's the other one? Beatmania. Like the teams that were the team that was behind that formed PM Studios, and then they brought out Super Beat Sonic, and now they're bringing stuff like Voez.
Yeah, this team has a few rhythm games on the Switch.
Voez and Demo and this, and Citus Alpha just came out the week before last on Switch, and it's published by PM Studios as well.
Is that out now? I thought that was still coming.
No, Citus Alpha came out. I picked that one up while I was on vacation. So, game's great.
Yeah, Voez. I think Voez has a demo on the Switch. If you're curious about what that is, that's another really good one. I really, really liked that one. Demo's good. I'd like to see Demo get like Labo support.
Ooh, I never thought of that. That'd be cool.
I think playing that game on the Labo keyboard would be really fun.
Can you imagine? Wow, that's a cool idea, Tony.
So they can have that one for free, and it needs to happen.
Pianista is another game very similar to Demo, but it's not by PM Studios. But that would be another cool game to use the Labo keyboard with. Man, that'd be cool.
I'd love to see a lot of third-party games getting the chance to use Labo for things.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Demo, when I first saw it and when Labo was out, I thought that would make a great sort of combination to be able to play Demo on the Labo keyboard. but yeah, that is all that I have been playing. Thank you, Shannon, for telling me I should take this game because it has been great. And not only that, Jake and I figured out how to make it into a co-op game.
Hand him one Joy-Con, you take the other one.
Exactly. Which at first makes it a little weird because there are some rhythms that go back and forth between the hands that you feel like you should be doing at the same time, but then you realize you've only got half the rhythm and he's got the other half of the rhythm. So that was that. It's an interesting feeling sometimes because it feels weird every once in a while, but it was actually a lot of fun to play that game co-op. So I don't know that it was ever intended to be played that way, but we had a lot of fun doing it.
Cool.
So, but that is it for me. So let's take a quick break. We will come back and we will talk about the news. All right, fellas. So, have either of you played No More Heroes Travis Strikes Again?
Yes.
Well, it has been exclusive to Switch since it came out, but at MomoCon recently, Suda51 went on stage and has announced that the game will be going to PS4 and PC.
Okay.
Not a lot of information about it. We don't know even if, I think there were a couple of DLC bits for the Switch, whether those are going to come bundled with the game as like a Game of the Year edition, or if those are going to be available on PS4 or PC. They didn't really talk much about it other than to say the game was going to be coming to those platforms.
Okay. Well, that's not completely out of sorts for No More Heroes games. I mean, we did get that PS3 version, Heroes Paradise, I think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was just on PS3. That didn't come to Xbox, did it?
No. It was PS3.
And it had move support.
There was, in another country, I think there was a No More Heroes game on 360, wasn't there, in Japan?
I don't remember.
But yeah, it did have move support, or you could play it with a controller.
Yeah. And they haven't announced when this will be available, anything like that. They literally just basically said that the game was going to be coming to PS4 and PC.
Yes, Heroes Paradise was available on 360 in other countries, just not in the US.
Okay.
That's weird.
Let's see. Europe and Japan.
That is very weird.
It probably sold 2 copies in Japan.
The only 2 copies.
So, I mean, considering how the 360 struggled in Japan, it probably didn't sell very well there. Yeah, I don't have any issues with this. I know a lot of people are like, it's been a Switch exclusive. It should stay a Switch exclusive. No, if more people are going to get a chance to play the game, there's nothing wrong with it coming to other platforms.
I agree.
Suda's got to eat.
And he needs to prove that the world needs another proper No More Heroes game.
That too.
So
yeah,
he's got to fund the next No More Heroes.
So I am all about not having those console exclusives if they're not absolutely 100% necessary, and I don't know many games that are like that.
Yeah.
So, but there you go. No More Heroes. Travis Strikes Again will be coming to other systems probably later this year, if I had to guess. But we'll find out soon. So, a couple weeks ago, you guys remember the Sonic movie?
Yeah, it's a little hard to forget that.
Issue.
Do we remember?
Never forget. Never surrender.
The director this week came out and said not only are they going to be reworking Sonic, but the game. It's not a game. The movie will not be coming out this year. It's been moved to February 14th, Valentine's Day of next year.
Okay.
So that'll be the perfect
So-
Valentine's present.
Yeah, they're trying to pull a Deadpool, huh? How many people can trick their significant other into
Into a Sonic movie date.
into a Sonic date night?
This now confirms Amy in the movie.
Oh man.
Shush. Sonic better not kiss any humans in that movie. I mean, other than ironically.
Amy's a hedgehog.
Oh, that's true. Who's the human I'm thinking of?
What was her name? Oh no. Was it Rose? You know what? That game didn't happen, so it doesn't matter.
I think this just means that they're delaying it so that the game can come out at the same time. So we're going to get the Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, the game.
What I liked from his post was the image he used with the sign that had the date on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being held by... all you see is Sonic's blue arm in a
Blue
glove,
arm Sonic.
with a gloved hand. So why would he have a blue arm and a gloved hand unless they already have a design down? So, and I'm not the only one who's noticed this. I found other people online that finally noticed. So we're expecting a more proper design for Sonic for the movie with the gloves on.
Yeah. Like, the only thing... Not the only thing, but the biggest thing they needed to do was just get the eyes right, and that would have gotten
That would have helped a lot, or
Yeah.
been weirder. I don't know. Just getting the face right is a big issue,
Yeah.
because it looked weird.
The legs were a little too human.
People have been saying that since the leaks.
So I mean,
Never
there's
miss leg
not
day.
There's not a lot that they got wrong, but the things they got wrong make Sonic look very, very weird.
It's like there's a design. It's not hard to get it wrong. Here's the design. Copy it.
Yeah.
Was it Big Red Button that did Boom? Sonic Boom?
That sounds right.
I mean, they changed up the design, gave him blue arms and a scarf, and made his legs a little longer. But
Some
at the
tape
core,
on his feet.
well, yeah, that too. But it was still Sonic. You look at it and say, that's Sonic. They throw out this thing on here, and it's like, okay, what is this? Is this supposed to be Sonic? What am I looking at?
Yeah,
you look at what's his name from the Super Mario Brothers movie. You go, that's Mario. You look at John Leguizamo or whatever his name is, and you say, yeah, that's Luigi. It's not a hard concept to understand. You just do it.
So that's the one thing about any Sonic design that has been out over the years. I don't think for the games, Sonic's design has always been really good. Even if the games weren't good, Sonic still looked like Sonic.
And the music was always great.
Mm-hmm.
Even where Sonic looked like Sonic, just bigger.
The worse the game, the better the music.
There may be some correlation to that.
Okay, no.
But there's
No,
never been
I'm
Gangster's
not-
Paradise.
That's true.
Sorry, Shannon.
So, yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, the game, the movie, has been delayed until Valentine's Day.
Sonic the Hedgehog the movie, the game the movie.
Yep.
Oh no. What if there is a game based on the movie?
Then it's going to have voice acting by Jim Carrey in it.
No.
And it'll be the greatest game.
They can't afford Jim Carrey to do voice acting. He won't do it.
I don't know. We'll see. Just wait till the Sonic Boom live action movie comes out.
I might see that. I'd be willing to see that. Yeah, I'd see that. Sonic Boom is not a bad cartoon.
No, it's not. The cartoon is actually really good.
My only regret about watching the cartoon is I usually catch it whenever I'm like sick in bed, and so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. You're in this like fever, state.
Yeah, and the volume's way down, so I can't hear it anyway.
Both of my youngest kids really liked the Sonic Boom cartoon. So I caught most of the episodes. I haven't seen all of them. But I didn't have any issues with that cartoon. I thought it was really good. So, there are not our last news stories. We've added more. Square Enix this week, aside from teasing a Dragon Quest announcement, which I have no idea what that could possibly be, and I'm very curious to know, has announced that the original Star Ocean, is it the original Star Ocean game? The PSP game.
A remake of the PSP game, which was a remake of the original Star Ocean.
There you go. That's what it was. Is coming to PlayStation and Switch. It's called Star Ocean First Departure R. And will feature, they say we'll have new features for both the PS4 and the Switch.
I don't remember if the PSP games were any good or not.
I did not ever play them.
And then I think the second game ruined the entire series by breaking everything. That's just me, sorry.
I played Till the End of Time, but I don't remember much of any of it.
That was the one on PS2, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have that. I think I got the girl with the tattoos or something, and that's where I stopped playing. She's early on in the game. Don't worry about it.
So, no word on any type of release date, and all they showed off was one image of the characters, and they're very anime RPG looking characters.
It is very anime looking.
Yep.
So,
along with very anime long cutscenes.
Speaking of long cutscenes, oh my gosh, I have to just mention this. I started playing Kingdom Hearts 3 this week.
Oh, really?
Good lord, I watched an hour and 15-minute long cutscene.
Did you finish 2.9?
No.
Oh, Tony.
I started this game and I got to a cutscene and I was ready to turn it off. I thought it was going to be a fairly short cutscene, and the cutscene just kept going and kept going and just kept going.
So you left and came back 20, 30, 40 minutes later.
Well, what I did was I put the PS4 to sleep because I had stuff I needed to do, and came back and the cutscene lasted another 20 minutes. I was like, my gosh.
So you're talking about when you're talking about when Sora goes to visit Yen Sid?
Yes.
For the first time? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's a long cutscene. But it's going to set up all the backstory for the fools who didn't play the game preceding it.
It was over an hour long.
Mm-hmm.
No cutscene should ever be that long in any game, ever.
Go play Metal Gear Solid 3, then we'll talk. No, wait, 4, sorry. 3 was good, 4.
I mean, Kojima has an excuse. He's Kojima. He makes long cutscenes.
He makes movies that are video games.
That's true.
Look, Kingdom Hearts 3 was a decade in the making. I'm happy with it. I think it was amazing.
I mean, that was a really nice movie I watched.
Don't hate.
So, yeah, there you go. Rant over. But yeah, Star Ocean coming to the Switch and the PS4 later. Not later this year. We don't know when. Sometime in the future. And then, Shannon, you've got a story that you sent to all of us about a game deal from Cubic Games.
Yeah, so Cubic Games is celebrating 15 years as a developer by giving away Robonauts, which is one of their Switch games. I haven't played, but you spoke fairly highly of it.
It is fun. It's fun. It's not, earth-shatteringly great, but it is a fun little sort of Mario Galaxy-style 2D platformer with robots.
Sounds good. In order for listeners to get this, go to cubicgames.com, spelled QUBIC games.com, and sign up for their email list by May 31st. They were fairly vague as to whether the 31st was the cutoff date or not, so if you're listening to this and you're interested in a free game, at least go check it out. But they will send you, after you confirm your subscription to their email list, they will send you a download code for it on the US eShop. They also have a huge sale going on the eShop to sell with this whole 15-year celebration thing. If you own Robonauts or any other, like if you already have bought one of Cubic Games developed games, you get 50 to 90% off of the rest of their library on the Switch. Like some games down to like 50, 79 cents. Like I cannot speak to the quality of any of these games, but when I just looked at it on the eShop, I was kind of blown away that I could pretty much buy everything they make for less than $20.
Yeah.
So, and then they also said that owning Robonauts will give you a free copy of Geki Yaba Runner Anniversary Edition when it releases on May 31st. So they're essentially giving away 2 free games. You just have to, you'll have to go to the eShop and quote unquote purchase for free this other game on Thursday. So,
well, okay.
Happy anniversary, Cubic Games.
There you go.
Thanks for free.
They have a game called Blazing Beaks, which looks interesting.
Blazing Beaks was the one that struck my fancy because I looked at it. I'm like, okay, this looks kind of like Hotline Miami crossed with Binding of Isaac, but you're playing as ducks.
Yeah,
I was like, that looks pretty cool. So I don't know. There seem to be some gems hidden in their library of games. So,
all right. Well, there you go. That will be it for the news, and we do not have any listener feedback this week. So make sure you get that into us for next week. We will answer all of your questions. I think next week we may do E3 predictions. So send us your predictions for what you think, or your wish list for what you want to see at E3, because we're just a couple weeks away now at this point.
We're like,
Suda51 is in the country. He is in Atlanta right now for
I think
MomoCon.
we're 16 days away from E3.
There you go.
I am sitting here with fingers crossed. No more Heroes 3. No more Heroes 3. No more Heroes 3.
It
or
may
at least
happen.
give me No More Heroes 1 and 2 on Switch.
On Switch, yeah.
Or bring back Killer 7. I'm okay with that too, because the main character from Killer 7 is in No More Heroes Travis Strikes Again.
Shared universe.
Come on. Please.
All right. There you go. So, that will be the show for this week. So thank you, Shannon, for being on the show.
Pleasure as always.
And thank you, Ethan.
Your character in anime is more manly than the real thing.
If you want to reach out to us, we have tons of new ways to do so. You can email us at podcast@procgent.com. That's PROCGENT.com. You can send us a voicemail if you want by clicking on the voicemail link on the right side of the website. You can send us voicemails up to 90 seconds in length, and we'll play those on future episodes of the show and respond to the questions that you have. If you like what we do here, you can now support us on Patreon, patreon.com/pgint. Patreon supporters will get a video version of the podcast a day early. These will normally go out on Tuesdays. Patreon supporters will get them on Monday. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/progenint. Check out our YouTube channel that we've got and see the content we've got going on up there. And then we still do have the Facebook group where you can interact with us on a daily basis as well.